Hi everybody, this is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy. Welcome to lesson number 102. In this lesson, we will introduce the student to OR. Let's begin by setting up the table. You'll need your top 160 sight word list. And if your student has finished all of those words, then you can move on to the top 290 word list. You can find this list on the flyingcatacademy.com website. Go to the guided lessons page and you'll see some sub-pages there. You want the one called Extra Resources. You'll need the Sight Word Study Method instruction sheet for the teacher, the student's card pack, some blank index cards, a highlighter, markers, and some pencils. For the Phonemic Awareness drill, you need the teacher instruction sheet and the colored tiles for the student. For the visual drill and auditory drill, you need the teacher instruction sheets and the card pack for the student. You'll have a blending drill ready to go on the table here. We're actually doing 2 blending drills in the lesson today, and I don't think you're going to have enough paper cards to set up the 2 lessons or the 2 drills, so I will provide the second blending drill in the video rather than having you set it up on the table, but have that one ready to go. And then we'll have the magnetic letter tile drills for reading and spelling, which go with the cookie sheet with the letters spread in a rainbow shape. You'll need the syllable pounding instruction sheet, the new phoneme grapheme kinesthetic discovery sheet, and the sheets for the lesson. In addition, we'll have some drills used in a previous lesson. This is that OO one that we've been working on, the different graphemes for OO. We'll also use the IT slider, and then we'll have a drill. Just it's a sort for is the syllable type that you're looking at R-controlled or something else. The student doesn't even have to read that one. Just sort it. And you might have a timer on the table. And you'll need that timer if you've introduced the fluency element. You'll need a secondary program to do this because it's not part of the Orton Gillingham method. It's time to work on your sight words. So student, could you take out your sight word card pack? I'd like you to read through all of the words in your card pack. After you read a word correctly, put a check mark in the corner of the card. Once you're finished reading all the cards, hand the card pack to your teacher, and then it's your teacher's turn to read. Your teacher will read each word, and student, you will write them down. After you write a word correctly, use the other corner of the card to put a check mark. Once you're finished writing all the words, have a quick discussion with your teacher about which of those words has been mastered. The mastered words will be removed from the card pack. This leaves space so that you can introduce a new sight word. Okay, it's time to do the phonemic awareness drill. So student, you're going to need your colored tiles for this one. Your word is ban. Can you repeat that? I might say there was a ban on hunting. People weren't allowed to hunt. Okay, I'd like you to build the word ban with your colored tiles and then tap it and say it. Okay, did you put down 3 different colored tiles? B, A, N. If you did, that's right. Now find the A in ban. I would like you to change the A into an R. And then tap it, say it. Okay, did you say the word is barn? If you did, that's right. Now take away the N in barn. And what are you left with? Did you say bar? If you did, that's right. Now find the B in bar and change the B into a K and tap it and say it. Did you say car? If you did, that's right. I got into the car. Okay, now add a N to the end of car. And what's your new word? Did you say carn? If you did, that's right. Part of the word carnival. Now change the N into a M in carn. What's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you say carm? If you did, that's right. Let's turn this into a real word. Find the K in carm and change the K into a F. What's your new word? Did you say farm? There were lots of animals on the farm. If you did, that's right. Okay, great job. You can put your tiles away. Let's do the visual drill. You'll need your card pack for this one. Student, what is the sound of this one? Did you say I, as in sigh? If you did, that's right. So the I says its name and the GH just sits there silently. Okay, teacher, you can do about 6 to 8 flashcards in this way. Now let's do the auditory drill. Student, your sound is R. Can you repeat that sound? Now, what grapheme do you know to write the sound R? Write it down right now, and as you're writing it down, say the sound. And then when you're finished, underline it and say the sound again. Did you say that AR makes the sound R? If you did, that's right. Okay, teacher, do about 6 to 8 flashcards in this way. We're going to do a blending drill. And your teacher probably has this one set up on the table for you. This is where we tap the card and say the sounds, and then underline it and say the whole word. Then the teacher changes the word by one card, and it reveals a new word. And you tap it and say it, and on you go. If your teacher doesn't have this one on the table, then I will provide it here. Now let's do some syllable pounding. And you'll know that when we do our syllable pounding, we're always listening for vowel sounds. Vowel sounds indicate that a syllable has happened. And when that happens, our chin drops and it'll hit our hand, or we can show that we're hearing it by saying the word and tapping our arm and shooting our fingers out for each syllable that happens. We learned about AR in the last lesson and how AR makes R. Can you say that sound? So when we hear that in a word, we have to know that that's going to be a sound that we're going to count as a syllable. So try it in this word. Starlight. How many syllables? There's 2. There's the R sound in star and the I in light. Okay, here's another one. How many syllables are in harness? I hear 2. I hear the R in har and the E in ness. Okay, try this one. Larm. How many? I just hear the 1, the R. And how about this one? Alarming. How many syllables? Did you say 3? Alarming. If you did, that's right. Okay, let's move on to scooping syllables. So can you take out your scooping syllables worksheet? And teacher, you have an answer key provided. And student, I'd like you to talk through your thinking as you're working on the words on this sheet. It's time to make word sums. And we have 2 worksheets that will help us to do this. We're using suffixes and we're adding them to bases of different syllable types. Student, remember that it's a great idea to discuss your thinking as you're working. There's a drill on the table, and it's one that we've done in previous lessons for EW, OO, and OU words. And in every case, these are going to make the OO sound. Can you repeat that? Yeah, OO. Okay, so we're focusing on the OO sound on this drill. And today, instead of making a story like we did in the previous drills, the teacher's going to hold the cards in hand and not show them to you, student. And the teacher will read a word. And then, student, I want you to point to the heading. Do you think this is an OO word or an OU word or an EW word? And then the teacher will reveal the card, and student, you can sort it under the right heading. Of course, you won't have time to do all the cards. Teacher's got an eye on the time, so just, maybe 6 to 8 cards. Now we'll do a slider to review the different words that are from the IT family, the IGHT family. If the teacher has this one on the table, you can do it that way, and if not, then I'll provide it here. Now let's move on to the new content part of the lesson. And as always, we'll start with what we know. So we have been learning about the R-controlled vowel type. And this happens in a word where there's one vowel, and the vowel is followed by a letter R. It's really hard to make the vowel sound when you have to make a R after it, because R is a very difficult sound to make. And so instead of even trying, we don't make a long vowel sound, we don't make a short vowel sound. Instead, we make a different vowel sound. And in the case of AR, what is the sound that we use for this combo? Did you say we just say the letter name? We say R. That's what we do. We don't even try to say A. So what would be... Oh, yeah, there we go. What would be this word? Can you tap in and say it? That word would be F plus R, far. I will go far. Okay. The other vowels, when they're followed by an R, are going to make some different sounds. OR is going to make or. Can you say that? Or. And then we have, all the rest are just going to make the sound that R makes. Can you say this? That's the sound of R that we've learned. So ER says Okay. Say IR says, say it with me, And UR says In today's lesson, we're going to focus on OR. And we know that OR makes or. So let's get started. Okay, let's start off with a nice little closed syllable. So what's this word? Can you tap it and say it? That word is pot. I put the pot on the stove. When I add the R after the O, we can't make that ah sound, so we don't even try. So if you see P-O-R-T, oh, there we go. How will you read that one? Remembering that you're going to read this as or. So tap and say the word. P, or, t, port. Okay, let's try a different one. Remembering that OR makes, can you say the sound? Or. Okay, we'll start with a closed syllable, so just read that one as olive. And what's that word? Bon. Okay, not a word on its own. Let's turn it into a real word. I'm going to put an R-controlled situation. So the O is followed by the R, so it's going to stop saying ah. And what will it say now? That word is born. Okay, let's do a blending drill to work on this OR combo saying or. And I'll provide it here. we're going to do a quick sort. You don't have to even read the words, you just have to sort them. So you're going to look at the word on the card and then sort it under either the heading that this is an R-controlled word, or is it some other syllable type? And you don't even have to read the words, just do a nice quick sort. Now let's do the magnetic letter tile drill for reading. You'll need your cookie sheet with your letters spread in a rainbow shape. Your first sound is R. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile or tiles and pull them to the middle. And your next sound is Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now tap it and say it. Did you say that your word is arm? This is my arm. And did you spell it A-R-M? If you did, that's right. Okay. Add a F to the front of arm. Can you say that sound? F. Now find the correct tile and add it to the front of arm. What's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you say the new word is farm? If you did, that's right. Now, how would you change the word farm into the word form? You'd have to change a letter. Make the change now. I filled out the form. Tap it and say it. Did you spell this one F-O-R-M? If you did, that's right. Put those tiles back and get ready for a new word. Your sound is K. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your sound is OR. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile or tiles and pull them to the middle. Your sound is N. Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now tap and say the word. Did you spell this one C-O-R-N? If you did, that's right. Okay, I'd like you to move on to the single word list, and you'll read all the words on the list, and then the short story. And finally, if your teacher has added a fluency element, that's where it'll go. Let's do the magnetic letter tile drill for spelling. You'll need your cookie sheet with your letters spread in a rainbow shape for this one. Student, your word is ban. Can you repeat that? When something is prohibited, they don't want you to do it, they put a ban on it. Okay, what's the first sound that you hear in ban? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in ban? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the last sound that you hear in ban? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now tap it and say it. Did you spell this one B-A-N? If you did, that's right. Now, how would you turn ban into barn? Can you say that word? I let the horse out of the barn. Barn. Okay, make the change now. And tap it and say it. Did you spell this B-A-R-N? If you did, that's right. Okay, now I'd like you to change barn into born. Can you repeat that? Okay. Make the change that you need to make to turn barn into born. And then tap it and say it. Did you spell this one B-O-R-N? If you did, that's right. Okay, put those tiles back and get ready for your new word. Your word is fort. Can you repeat that word? The kids wanted to make a big fort. Okay, what's the first sound that you hear in fort? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in fort? Find the correct tile or tiles and pull them to the middle. And what's the last sound that you hear in fort? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now tap it and say it. Did you spell this one F-O-R-T? If you did, that's right. Okay, teacher, if you have time, you can do more words in this way. And if not, then student, I'd like you to grab your pencil and a lined piece of paper, and we're going to write some single words. Your word is car. Can you repeat that? I will drive a car. Now I'd like you to tap out the sounds and say them as you hear it, as they are in the word car. So tap them out, say the whole word, and then write it down. Did you spell car C-A-R? If you did, that's right. Your next word is cart. Can you repeat that word? Kids like to drive go-karts. Cart. Okay, tap the sounds, say them as you do it, say the whole word, and write it down. Did you spell this one C-A-R-T? If you did, that's right. Here's your next word, fort. Can you repeat that word? I will make a tree fort. Fort. Tap it, say it, and write it down. Then we'll check your work. Did you spell this one F-O-R-T? If you did, that's right. Okay, port. Can you say that? The ship came into the port. Tap the sounds, say the word, and write them down. And we'll check your work. Did you spell this one P-O-R-T? If you did, that's right. All right, teacher, it's time to have the student write some full sentences. So, teacher, I'd like you to read all 3 sentences, and the student will choose the 2 that will be written. After a sentence is written, make sure, student, that you check your work with CHOPS. Let's do a quick review before you go. We'll review some of the vowel diphthongs and then the R-controlled ones that we've learned. What are the 2 sounds that this combo can make? Did you say O when it's acting as a vowel team, or ow when it's acting as a vowel diphthong? As in, I will sow some seeds, or how are you doing? If you did, that's right. And what is the sound that this one makes? Did you say aw? If you did, that's right. As in autumn or auto. And then we've been talking about R-controlled vowels. Student, can you tell your teacher what is an R-controlled vowel? You can take out your definition card, your rule card if you need. Okay, and did you tell your teacher that this is when we have a vowel, one vowel, followed by the letter R, and it's very difficult to say the vowel sound correctly when we have that situation, so we don't even try. Instead, we just make a new sound. It's not a long sound, it's not a short sound, it's a different sound. So what's the different sound that happens in this combination? What's the sound of AR? We say R, so we name the R, and we don't even try to say the A. And we learned about OR. What's the sound? Oh, I just told you. OR makes OR. Well, that's the end of lesson 102. You did a great job today. This is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy.